Hi guys, you're welcome to another episode on Senator Kelesi and you. And today the senator wants to talk about ways that you can search for schools in Germany. I have been reached out by a lot of people who complain to me that they really want to study in Germany. They've been trying, but they don't know how to go about searching for schools and getting to find the right schools. And today I want to give you some tips on how you can be able to search for schools in Germany and apply for them. This video is very important because so many people want to school here, but they do not know how to go about it. Some have even been scammed by others because they don't know where to search for information. And so today, take closer attention and listen and watch this episode, and you are going to learn how you can practically move step by step in looking for the right schools to apply in Germany. And so I want to highlight that if you want to apply to schools in Germany, you need to start by searching through official sites. And one of the official sites I'm going to mention to you is the DAAD, the German Academic Exchange Service, which I have mentioned in several videos. If you go to their official website, you are going to see a listing of schools that you can find in Germany and probably talking about the scholarships that they offer and other services. This is important as it is going to already situate you in the German school system where you can find scholarships and where scholarships are not available. The other official site that you can look for schools is the RKH, which is the German Rectorate Conference. It has a database of all schools in Germany. You can go to this website and check such that you can be able to find the various schools in Germany, and then that will now already start guiding you in the direction of which school you can apply to. And now, after you have already identified the school, then the next thing for you to do is to define your priorities. What do I mean by defining your priorities? You need to think of the program that you want to study. What kind of study program are you coming for, or do you want to go in for? In this area, you can look for specific programs that are taught in English if you are an English speaker. And after this, the next important thing that you have to look at under your priorities is to look at where the school is located. And when you're thinking about where the school is located, you need to think of the lifestyle in this place. You need to think of the cost of living. Those are important factors to consider when you are looking for a school and where you are going to live for some time. These are very important to consider. And now, if you are research focused, then you must try to look at the school ranking. The ranking of the school in terms of research is very important, as that is going to give you an idea of the kind of work that is being done in that institution. So that is the next thing that you look for when you are defining your priorities after you have considered official sites, like I mentioned before. Now, when you have already defined your priorities, the next most important thing for you to check is the entry requirements. Entry requirements are very important. And in entry requirements, you need to think of language proficiency. You need to think of language proficiency. If you're going to study in English, most of the schools will require that you have TOEFL or that you have IELTS. These are official English exams that you are required to have. And if you're going to study in German, most of the schools will ask for TestDAF. That is an exam that you need to take. So under entry requirements, you need to look at these particular things that I have mentioned. The next thing now is you need to check if your academic qualification, if you're coming for masters or any other higher degree, you need to check if your academic qualifications are recognized in Germany. And you can go to Anabin database, and you can be able to find out if your qualifications are recognized in Germany, because this is very important. There are some schools that, out of Germany, that their qualifications are not recognized in Germany, or some countries that their qualifications, academic qualifications, may not be recognized. You need to check to be sure that you have recognized academic qualifications before you proceed. Still under entry requirements, you need to check application deadlines. These are very important. Some people do not even know when to apply. If you're thinking of coming for the winter semester, you must apply between July and August of the previous year. July and August. And if you're thinking of coming for the summer semester, then you should be aiming at applying between January and February. These periods are very important. They may be extended application periods, but then these are the various periods that are always very important to note if you're considering applying to a school in Germany. After you have considered the entry requirements to a particular university that you want to attain, the next thing that you must do, which is very important, is go into that particular university which you have selected, go into their website and try to get information about them. Check every information that is important about them. So think about student testimonials, what students are saying about studying in such an institution. That is very important for you to know. It is just like looking at the rating of a product online when you want to buy. That is very important. And also when you are in the university website, you can check the International Student Office to look at some of the information they have there for international students. This is going to help you in the application process. These are very, very important tips that you must consider. And remember, you are still here with Senator Kelesi, talking about the various tips that you should use in searching for schools in Germany. When you have already considered the previous factors that I mentioned, the next thing which you should take, which is very important, is to go practical. What do I mean by go practical? Here, you need to look at practical things like cost of living. Cost of living. And I want to remind you that cost of living is very, very important. Not only for students, but for every other person when you are moving to a new place. You need to have this information on hand so that it can be able to guide you to make the right choice about the location where you will settle down. So it is very important to consider how much you are going to be spending on whatsoever. So the city you are choosing to study in is very important. Let me give an example. If you're considering a city like Munich, know that it is going to be more expensive than a city like Leipzig, for example. These are practical things that you should have at the back of your mind. Another practical thing that you should consider here is what type of opportunities are available in the city where you are going to. Are there job opportunities? Because even as a student, you need to look for something to be supplementing your expenses, except you have a lot of money. And even if you have a lot of money, you still need some to be able to save. Also, think of whether there are internship opportunities in this particular location where you are going to. Those are practical things that you should think about before you decide on the city where you are going to. Another way or another aspect of going very practical is to be able to join student groups. You can join student clubs even from where you are before you finally arrive here. That is, if your application is already in the process. So we are talking here about being very practical and considering the factors that are going to get you smoothly transitioned to your new area where you're going to study. The last aspect that I am going to address here is the fact that you need to, after doing everything, checking entry requirements, going practical and whatsoever, the last thing here is that you need to reach out to the International Student Office. Sometimes there are certain questions that you may not be able to find straightforward answers on the website. And so you need to reach out to the International Student Office and find out from them. Write to them through their official email, and they will be able to respond to you because you are their prospective student. And most of the schools will be ready to respond to you, to give you the information that you need, because they know that if they don't give you this information, you are going to be misled. So reach out to the schools. You can also reach out to some of the students who have been in that school, maybe alumni. You can find some groups on LinkedIn. You can find some people on LinkedIn who are from that school that you intend to go to. You can reach out to them and be very clear and explicit. Remember, LinkedIn is a professional site and not a social site. So if you are contacting somebody on LinkedIn, be professional and state your reasons of contacting the person clearly. And most of the times, people are ready to help, to direct you on the right thing to do. This is Senator Kelesi and you, and this is the Senator himself, talking to you today about practical tips that you can use in searching for schools in Germany. Remember to subscribe to my channel and share my videos with your friends. Share them with groups that you belong to, because people need this information. When I am addressing a topic like that of today, it is mostly because people reached out to me asking for the same thing over and over again. And when you watch the videos, comment. That is a very important feedback for us. And also, you can react by sending a like or a heart so that we know that we are doing well. Or you can also tell us what other topic you think we can address. And if you have questions, don't forget to drop them in the comments too. Thank you very much for subscribing and watching our videos all the time. And we trust that these are helping you.